Are you a maximalist or is boho your thing? Maybe you're obsessed with them both, but then you love a bit of Hollywood glam too. If you need help with reining in and finding your interior style, then stay tuned for today's episode. Welcome to the Daring Home Decor podcast. Are you sick of playing it safe with your interior design? Do you want to get confident with colour and pattern and learn DIY hacks so you can actually finish your home projects? Do you dream of being adventurous with room makeovers but lack the confidence to start, not to mention being clueless of how to get your husband on board? Don't worry girl, I got your back. I'm your host, Cara Baker, serial decorator and content creator. I tried to design our home with personality and style, but everything felt disconnected and lackluster. Then I cracked the code to successfully decorate with bold interior design. In this podcast, you'll learn how to get brave with your DIY and decor choices, steps for daring room makeovers, plus unique and quirky home styling, so you can create a fun and functional home with pizzazz and glam. So grab your paintbrush, put on those overalls and let's get decorating. Before we start, I want to know if you're ready to take the plunge into bold interior design, because I am thrilled to invite you to my Bold Room Refresh Challenge. This is a free fun workshop where you'll learn how to add personality to a room in your home without breaking the bank or spending endless hours on renovations. Woohoo! Does that sound good? I know it does. So I want you to go right now to daringhomedecor.co.uk/room refresh to sign up, and I'll also put a link in the show notes. In today's episode, I'm going to help you find your interior style when you love so many. When I first started to really push the boundaries with my interior design, I was like a kid in a candy store, obsessing over moody dark decor, discovering maximalism, thinking I should be cool and go retro. I was all over the place. I painted my bathroom dark, which I regret now because it's a room that hasn't really got a lot of light coming into it. I scoured the antique shops for retro items, which I quickly fell out of love with because they weren't really me. And I then came to realise that I was being distracted by shiny objects, and I then started to choose schemes that really lit me up, instead of being distracted by lots of different influences at the same time. So how do you find your style? Well, first of all, there's no pressure at all. And there's certainly no pressure for you to have a label for your style and name it something that, one of the coined styles like mid-century modern. You can just describe your style in your own words. So take notice of schemes that you gravitate towards. Start really honing in on when you see things, how inspired you are, how much you love them. Listen to your gut. What decor looks do you obsess over? Do you ever see anything and think, oh wow, I absolutely love that? What colours and accessories make you feel good? Start to really tune into it and make a note of it instead of doing it subconsciously. So firstly, there's no pressure, but secondly, you do need to make a start. If you stay constantly in your head, flitting from one style to another, being indecisive, worried you'll make a mistake or what people might think, you're never going to get anywhere. So sometimes you have to fail forward and change your mindset in order to actually get something done and make a start. Learn by your mistakes. We all learn in every area of our lives, from when we're born until we die. We are all learning by our mistakes. So don't ever think that you've got to get everything right and perfect the first time, because that's just not reality. Nobody ever does it. So give yourself permission that it's okay if things don't work out exactly how you wanted them to. Just think how quickly the years pass by. Do you ever think about, for example, you've been to an event somewhere and you think, oh yeah, that was last year, and then when you look, you actually realise it was 3 years ago. So because time passes so quickly, the mistakes don't matter so much, because you can think, well, if I start something now and it doesn't go well, just think where I might be in 3 to 5 years' time. So make a start now, and you'll have strengthened your style muscle before you even know it. But the main thing is to take that first step. I'm interrupting this episode with some exciting news. I want to invite you to a free live workshop that I'm going to be holding on July the 17th. It's a bold room refresh challenge where I'll teach you how to add bold decor to a space in your home with minimum effort and maximum impact. If you want to get daring with your decor but are still playing it safe because you don't know where to start, are scared of making a mistake and have no clue how to add colour to your home, then come and join me for this fun workshop where I'll teach you the methods I use to decorate like a boss and create a home full of pizzazz. This bold room refresh challenge will help you finally make a start with creating the daring interior of your dreams. Go now to daringhomedecor.co.uk/room refresh to save your seat. Now, that first step doesn't have to be renovating your whole house. So just know that you can start with a small step. So you could dabble with different styles on a small scale instead of going and decorating your whole house and ending up like I did with one colourful room, one dark room, one art deco room, and before you know it, you have a mismatched house and you're confused as to what you like and you don't like. Now, I'm not saying you can't, mix things up and have an eclectic mix of things in your home. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's always easy to add things in later than just start with everything. So start small. Examples of how you can start small are you could just make over the corner of a room. It doesn't have to be the whole room. You could do the cupboard under the stairs, or if you haven't got a cupboard, just the area under the stairs. You could start with a piece of furniture, upcycling it. You could start with a small room or a room that's not really used or seen a lot. If you listen to episode 6 of the podcast, that will give you a few ideas on small projects that you can actually make a start with. And then when you've started small, live with it for a while. See if you love it, see if you hate it. Does it work for how you live, and does it work for the kind of home that you've got? For example, my bathroom, it's an absolutely gorgeous colour, but it's a north-facing bathroom that just doesn't get a lot of light into it. So I personally now prefer lighter, brighter colours because a lot of the rooms in my house don't have loads of light flooding into them. So I want to make the rooms as light and areas as I can with the paint colours. And I realised, even though I thought, dark and moody is the in thing, I realised that wasn't for me. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be for you if that's what you love. And in some spaces, that does work brilliantly. But for me personally, it didn't work. So I'm glad I only did it in one room and didn't paint the whole house dark, because that would have been a bigger task to try to undo. You could also do a refresh of a room in a particular style. And if you want to know a little bit more about how you can go about doing that, then make sure you join my bold room refresh challenge that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, and you can join now at daringhomedecor.co.uk/room refresh. There's also a link in the show notes, and I will be so over the moon to see you there. So once you've made a start and had a little bit of a dabble with experimenting on small things in your home, you can start with one and then add more as you get more confident, and as you like or dislike things, you know what to do next. And then over time, your home decor will evolve and your style will evolve. You'll start realising what things that you really gravitate towards. You can add more of what you love and lights you up, and you can edit out things that you fall out of love with and don't work in the space or in your home, like I did with my retro items, like I did with my dark bathroom. Another tip for you is to write a priority list. So if you are finding that you think you love loads of different styles, then think about, if you had to choose one of them, which one would it be? And when I say style, as before, you describe it however you want. I mean, you can, if you want to, you can say Art Deco, for example, but just know that you don't have to. You can describe it in your own words. And then you can use this style as a starting point for your decor. As I mentioned before, it doesn't mean that you can never do or have anything else in your home, But I'll repeat again, it's easier to add to than to take away, and trying to get back to a point where your home feels cohesive if you start off and decorate every room in a completely different style from the beginning. The main thing that I want you to take away from this episode is to start with one style that you love in a small way, be prepared to make mistakes, and then you can expand your decor and your style will also expand over time. Just to recap then, remember there's no pressure, don't feel the pressure, but the most important thing to do is make a start, dabble on a small scale with different styles, let it evolve over time, and write a priority list of the styles that you absolutely love the most. So as your homework, I want you to go and share in the Facebook group your favourite interior design style, and that can be in your own words. And if you're not already a part of the Facebook group, you can go over to facebook.com/groups/Daring Home Decor and join. There's also a link in the show notes, and remember, it's the Facebook group that you want to try and find, not my normal Facebook page, which has got the same name. And if you're loving the show, I really want to put a plea out there to you to leave me a review. It means so much. Don't think everybody else is doing it and you don't need to, because they're not. I really need all the reviews I can so the show will be shared to more and more people, because I want to inspire more and more people to get bold with their decor, just like you're being inspired. If you scroll down on Apple Podcasts to the purple writing, tap leave a review or write a review. Give me 5 stars if you're loving the show, and write a quick 2-minute review. Then I'll love you forever. And I'll give you one more reminder to join my challenge. You don't want to miss it. There'll be prizes on the day, and there's a link in the show notes. That is that for this episode, and thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next Tuesday, where I can't wait to get creative with you in the next episode of the Daring Home Decor podcast. One last thing before you grab that paintbrush. If you've been inspired by the show today, I'd be triple grateful if you'd follow me and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. This will let me know if I've helped you in any way. And if you fancy a look around my home or to join the Daring Decor community, you'll find all my resources in the show notes. I'll see you next week, and happy decorating.